Hello and welcome back. That's the caboose that somebody very kindly sent me, along with a handful of other items. Sort of the end of the summer last year, and we saw it in the video then, and it was a very, very used state. It had some bits missing, and it's got some breaks in it, and we'll have a closer look at it later. But I finally sort of got it to a stage where I thought I'd be happy running it. So let's see if we can pick the rest of these items up. I got a tank wagon there, and I've got a flat car, an old-time smoking car, or an old-time coach, a stock car there. So we'll just grab some power onto this. So we'll just run this forward, gently through the points. And if I just reach over here for the appropriate switch, and we'll make that one go straight. We'll just run backwards. And I'm unsure whether I have those. I think I have that, but I also went back a little bit further than I'd anticipated, and I think I've run it into the buffer. So I'm wondering whether I'll pull the buffer with me when I make the train go. So let's see what. No, got away with that. So we'll just pull that out onto the inside line. We have it. So I'll pop the controls down and we'll sort out that point. So we'll make that one go curved, and then we can run this lot around the inside line and just have a bit of a look at them. So we'll just let that run away and see if we can get out behind the caboose perhaps. So I did end up making some 3D sort of verandas for them, 3D printed, sorry, and a 3D chimney, a replacement chimney. I've just noticed my mistake here in leaving this pad there. Let's get that out of the way. Sorry about that. Let's catch up with that again. So 3D printed verandas, 3D printed chimney, and I did make a couple of steps for it as well. And then we've got a flat car, which isn't a complete original one. So mine didn't have the pin, so I've just sort of made some of those up out of some little bits of toothpick. I tried matchstick, but it ended up being too fiddly. So that's had repairs on it. And the old-time coach, that's got verandas, 3D printed verandas on. So what we'll do, we'll get this lot off the rails and have a look at them. Also, that's got a chimney on it as well. And anything else got 3D parts, 3D printed parts? I don't think so. So if I just grab my notes, and we'll just have a swift set of numbers on these as we go around. So the caboose was R449, and it does have the number on the side. And these were available sort of 64 to 65. And then we've got the oil tanker there, R117. 57 to 65, a number of different colours of those available. So I think this is quite a nice one. It's got the Shell logo on it. It's in sort of quite thick paint, thick sort of transfer on there with a red background. We'll have a closer look at that. And then we've got the flat car here, R234, 1960 to 63. I think they were available. The smoking car, or the old-time coach, whatever we want to call it. So that's R448, 62 to 65. And then we've got the terrific-looking stock car there. So that's quite a vibrant yellow, that one. So that's R126, 57 to 65. And then we've got the very play-worn Davy Crockett locomotive here. So we are R358 for the locomotive, and 233 for the tender, 62 to 65, these were available. Let's just get in tight one more time for this lot, and we'll get them off the rails and have a look over them. Although, yeah, we'll have a look over them and then perhaps a glance at the catalogue. See, I made a load up for that with some bamboo sticks just cut up from the garden. I thought that was quite effective. just let that run away off into the distance. So this caboose, it's got a number of pieces missing. It's got some cracks. It's definitely enjoyed some playtime. The chimney, I don't know if you have a look at the insert picture there from one I showed some time ago on the railway. It's a very, very delicate item. I know we've got the walkway is a little bit damaged. So my plan, as I don't think I'll be able to do much renovation on this at the moment, what I want to do is create a 3D printed part for here. Looking at the steps, it shouldn't be too much of a trouble to generate some replacement steps there. So I have, as I said, I've had a fiddle with this. I have managed to ease the roof off of it here, and the original weight. So see the top part there just plugs in. So you can see the chimney would have plugged into there. So I'll also see if I can make a chimney, but perhaps not as ornate or bendy as the original one that went on it. So this weight has been snapped off. It should be plugged into the base there, and see it's all come away. So as you could see in that footage there, this was in reasonably poor condition. Definitely has been enjoyed in the past and had some missing parts, a couple of steps and so on. So if we have a look underneath here, we can see we've got that's an original step there. And then on this side here, that's a 3D printed one there. You have a look at the drawing in the corner of the screen, but that's about as fine as I'm going to get. And then there's a veranda, or the railings for the veranda. I've remade those, but instead of making them solid on the end, I decided to put sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say banister rails, but it's not really. It's more like a rail or a fence, isn't it? I'm sure there's a much better word of describing that, but I thought that looked quite good. And there is the chimney I made. So again, they're about on the edge of what 3D printing does, but I think they're at arm's length. These things really do look quite good. And I did show in the video at the time that I'd sort of glued that back together and put the weight back in place. So there's two replacement steps on there. And we've got the chimney. And then the verandas at either end, the detailing for the veranda. So quite a bit of work went on there, and that has taken me a lot longer to get on and do that than I had anticipated. So that's R449, and I think we said earlier that was 1964 to 65, just quite a short period in the catalogue. I didn't think this looked out of place on a Wild West train. So we've got the oil tanker here, R117. These are available in a number of colours. So I've got a handful of these, but most of mine have the Mark II style couplings. This one's got Mark III, and we've got pinpoints on here, and it's in fairly nice condition. So I'm not sure what the process was that these transfers were done in, but they're quite impressive. The nice contrast with the colour of the model. So we're at R117. These are 55 to 65, and this does have its box. So only two items from this lot of items today have a box. So somebody's taped it shut at the end there, and you can see oil tanker, bogie wagon, R117, TC series. So I think it's probably easier to see at the other end. Let's see, somebody's had tape around there and it's been taken off. Bit of a price there. There we go. We've got a bit better sort of visibility of the printing or rubber stamping on the end of the box there. So Trying Railways on the back. We will grab some focus. If you have a look at the insert picture there, you can see how the model looks through the cellophane. But the cellophane is sort of thick and quite dirty. It's sort of ingrained. But I think a lot of that might be on the underside of that cellophane. And here we have the flat car from the TC range, and I fitted it with these sort of bamboo logs, for want of a better word. I'm sure these are about to all fall off, so I'm just going to take those off. We'll just deposit those down there, and we'll put them back on again in a moment. So it should have had pins down the side of it. Now these aren't the originals. These are some I just made out of cocktail sticks, and I think they look quite look the part, to be honest. They're a little bit wobbly. I just made them up with the black marker pen to sort of colour them in. I think we've got focus again there. So this has got metal bogies on it and open axle boxes, sleeve wheels, all that lovely detail on the underneath there. I think if I don't know if we can get in tight enough and read triang down there. Just catching that. It looks like we might have got focus on there. So you never can tell sometimes when you're looking in the back of the camera. So I think this is just the base of the wagon, which was used for the pulpwood car. So if you have a look at the insert picture there, you can see a pulpwood car. So it had two plastic ends, and you've got that plastic mould, which went on there. They look quite impressive. So what are we on here? So flat car R234, and these were available 1960 to 63. We've seen the smoking car before, just a few months ago. It was one of the ones I made the 3D printed veranda early on when I bought the Davy Crockett. I bought some coaches that had quite a lot of damage, missing parts and so on, missing chimney as well. So I think this one is missing a seating unit, although I'm not entirely convinced that they were always sold with seating units. So I've got several without them. I can't really come up with a really good reason for not having them, or taking them out. There we go. This one's got pinpoints. Some of the earlier ones had metal bogies and sleeved wheels. If we can get that to catch in the light, can we read? There, we just got triang. You can see it just under there, and then the model number R448. So these were available, I think, 62 to 65. So no, a little bit of scuffing and stuff there, and that's a 3D printed chimney there. So they were missing on a number of the ones I'd originally had. So I mean, when I bought them, I didn't have a 3D printer, and it always been my intention to make these verandas up in cardboard. But like many things that you think, oh, I'll buy that and do that, and I never did get around to it. So they just sat in a box for years. And again, I thought this looked pretty good with a Wild West train. This sort of stock car with the sort of semi-open planking down the sides. We've got ladders up the side and the ends there. Lovely detail. Look at all that in there. And again, this one's got open axle boxes and the sleeved wheels. I think we just heard one of the doors open there. Now I've just realised I've got my camera incorrectly set here. I've got stabilisation set, so I think that's going to sadly make the image jump around a bit. I do apologise about that, but I've only just noticed that I've got the stabilisation symbol in the corner of the screen. So I think that's a really vibrant colour. That I do have some in brown, which I thought might have looked quite good with this group of models, but in the end I thought the yellow was with the black roof suited it quite nicely and really added to the effect of a sort of a Wild West type train like you saw in those old cowboy movies. So this is R126. I think these variations on these were 57 to 65, and this one does have its box. Box may have seen better days. Again, there's a packing ring rolling around inside there. R126 stock car, TC series. I've got a price scribbled in pencil there. We could get that one the right way up and read it, couldn't we? And so you can see the effects of tape there. So that is just a packing ring and the silica gel rolling around inside the box. A swift look over the Davy Crockett now. We've seen this in a great deal more detail in an earlier video, so it's quite recently, so we won't overdo it with this one. They are really fantastic things, incredibly fragile, very optimistic as a child's toy. So I think it's just such a lovely thing, whatever condition these are in. I think they're just lovely, fun things to look at. This one had some extensive gluing and repairing, and over the years, when it came to me, it's been looked after a little bit more since I've had it, I think, and I haven't over cleaned it like many of these things. I think if you over clean, sometimes you could end up doing a little bit more damage than you intend to. So I've left it pretty much as it was, just a gentle wipe. There's the motor, the magnet sticking out the back of the cab there. So I'm going to pop that down and we'll grab the tender. So that was our 358. Davy Crockett 62 to 65. Tender the same period, but the tender has a number of our 233. Again, we've got those bogies on there. Makes it quite a heavy thing for a tender, and it's got this great sort of wood effect down there for the fuel and keep the fire burning. So I think that's really quite a splendid looking item. I've got this lot back on the rails, and I've altered the route so we can run around the inside line in a slightly extended route. I don't know whether you remember that last time we ran this, I discovered that this collides with the underside of my elevated section. So it's really quite tall, taller than the rest of the models that I had measured when I was setting this up. I don't know whether we can just come down and have a look. So it's not that bit under there that's an issue, it's over here. Let me move these cables, pop this down here, see if I can move the signal box out of the way. So I don't know, if we come down here, you can see the support under the elevated section there. So it runs laterally to give the support over there to span the rails and create space for things to come under there. So that was possibly poorly thought out, but almost everything else runs. What else do we have trouble with? Hornby Doublo breakdown crane doesn't like going past the elevated section. It strikes the edges of the piers. So yeah, there's always going to be something, I think, but I think I can live with that. And if I was really serious about it, I suppose I could just alter that support very slightly. It would just need a very small amount taken out of it. I've never got around to it. Let's go for some power and get this lot to run around this slightly extended route. Then we'll have a look at that catalogue we can see hiding in the corner of the image there. That's all looking quite good. Hides behind the station. I'm going to run out this side of it, well, not exactly run. And we'll just catch those wagons coming through here. The logs are behaving themselves. I think that's actually just picked up quite a lot of pace as it's warmed up. Again with the following day, so this has really been sitting around a little bit. So it's snaking its way through there. Be a bit lumpy on the diamond crossing. So let me just alter some points over here, and we'll get actually I've already altered them. So we can get that diesel locomotive running on the outer line. I just need to grab the controls for that. I lost sight of the train there, so I think we'll just confidently leave that one to go where it goes. And we'll ease this one out onto the outer line. Yeah, because that's quite a tall model in itself as well. So I am just going to attend to this point work over here before I forget it, because I know I'll just come crashing back round there and we'll run through there because I'll have forgotten. So let's run back round here and find the Davy Crockett and the freight wagons and the coach. As we pan round here, let's get the diesel locomotive underway. Just come down a little bit, we'll have a look at that run under there. And I can hear Davy Crockett coming in from the left of the shot here. Diesel locomotive definitely picking up a little pace. See if we can get them both in shot as we come through here. There we go. Yeah, some of those logs are working their way off the back of the wagon there. So I'm going to put down the controls for the diesel locomotive, and we'll see if we can get some control over this in a second. Again, I turned to look over my shoulder to do that and completely lost sight of the Davy Crockett there. The diesel locomotive is going to come storming under the elevated track there, or through the elevated track. There's a wonderful smell from the motors of these. The diesel locomotive, the motor makes a terrific smell, very electrical. There we have it. So I think if we grab some control over this, and then we'll have a look over the catalogue. Diesel locomotive's about to come round, and we'll follow that through the station. Effortless. So I'll bring the Davy Crockett to a stop just after the diamond crossing. I'll pop the controls down, and we'll decide which station we're going to stop the diesel locomotive at. Not this one, because I haven't got the controls. So I'll bring it to a stop in the 00 station. There we go. Got slightly wobbly, holding the camera in the left hand there. So sort of overbalancing slightly. So let's just finish off with a quick look at this catalogue. So we'll just have a quick look at the cover there. Another one, Terence Cuno's images on the cover there, and we've got the 9th edition. Let's just pull the price list out as well. Can't quite get a hold of that. And then we want the TC items there. There we go. So we've got the Davy Crockett there. Really stunning, that imagery, isn't it? We get that in, and the model itself perhaps in the background. Almost. Don't know whether we'll hold any focus between the two. So we've seen this image before, but it's just such a stunner. As I say, it's worth another look, isn't it? So I think we've got all of the wagons, one way or another, in this catalogue. So there we've got the stock car. So that looks fairly good in that train there with Hiawatha, named TC Pacific named Hiawatha at this stage. Let's run around onto this page. So here we go. So there we've got the flat car, and I think that is just the base that's used for the pulpwood car. So we should get the pulpwood cars out, and then we've got a blue tanker, and then we've got the caboose, which is new in that year. So we'll grab the catalogue, not the catalogue. We'll grab the price list. Running short of words here. Let's see if we can find the caboose on here. So TC series. Let's have a look down here. Might have to put the camera down and come back to this. Passenger rolling stock. TC series here. We've got coaches, baggage, old time coach here. Goods, freight. TC series. Here we go. Old time caboose. And it just says autumn. So there we've got price list current 1st January 1963. So it's always good to have a look. But I think that's probably it for this time. But thanks again for the very kind person who sent me that group of items last year, and especially that caboose. But it has taken me longer to get around to getting on with it than I had thought. But you know, these things always take time. You think you set time aside to do things, and something else crops up, and things never go quite as planned. So I think just to finish off with, we'll just put a bit of power in this, and we'll see you next time. We'll look back and we'll get something else interesting to look at. Goodbye now.